with the Women's Circle this month.
Yes, I'm excited. Yes, excited to see you, excited to talk more about it, and excited for next week.
Excellent. Yeah. So, Taylor, who are you and what is Tailored Health?
Yes, that's a loaded question. Who am I? I am Taylor Wessel. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I have about 14 years of professional experience in the wellness space, coaching, being a holistic nutritionist. And I like to say a lifetime of personal experience, trying different diets, different protocols, having my own health challenges. And I started my business, Tailored Health, in 2020. Started off originally as weight loss focused, and then really started talking about my personal journey with hormone imbalance, adrenal fatigue, hypothyroidism, and got a lot of interest, people wanting me to share more. So I quickly shifted gears from weight loss to really zooming in on this small scope of people, which is actually very large now that I'm fully immersed. Working with predominantly women who are going through burnout, adrenal fatigue, and or hypothyroidism, and really helping them to learn some of the tips, tools, and techniques that I learned firsthand to pull themselves out of this kind of push, feeling exhausted, not sleeping great, constantly hungry and craving different foods and bloated and puffy. All of the things that I know so well firsthand. So that's a little bit about me, kind of my practice, my area of expertise, and that kind of loads us up for what's to come in the Women's Circle next week.
Absolutely. And I see that you're going to speak about I think you touched on it a little bit, but all ages and how this can impact adrenal fatigue, can impact all ages.
Yes, thank you. So when I was going through adrenal fatigue and finally got the hypothyroid diagnosis, I had taken myself off birth control pills after hearing a bunch of my girlfriends talk about how they had been on birth control pills for a long period of time, weren't feeling great, not feeling like themselves, went off birth control and just felt like the cloud had been lifted, felt like a totally different human. I thought, you know what, I've been on birth control myself for 8 to 10 years. Let's just see what happens if I was to take myself off. And I've always been more holistic minded in the nutrition space, not as connected with what we're taking, what we're doing, and how we feel until obviously as I got later on into my career path. But at that moment, it was just, let's experiment. Let's see how good I can feel or if I feel any different. On taking myself off birth control pills, I lost my period for 3 years. And in that period of time, I was trying different dietary approaches, playing around with my exercise, going for acupuncture, doing seed cycling, working with other practitioners in the wellness space. Got the hypothyroid diagnosis first, started taking against my first line of approach, started taking thyroid medication, Armour thyroid actually. My periods weren't coming back online, my cycle, nothing was speaking to one another in my body. I actually was living in Colorado at that time. I moved back to Chicago, where I'm originally from, and started working with a new team of naturopathic doctors and got the adrenal fatigue diagnosis. And when I started supporting my adrenals, which we'll talk about what the adrenal glands are if you're completely like, this is a new term to me, have never heard about adrenal fatigue or the adrenal glands, hypothyroidism and thyroid conditions seem to be more top of mind for people nowadays, just because I see so many clients being medicated for thyroid conditions. So anyways, I started supporting my adrenals with adaptogens, with a lot of things that I'll be sharing next week at the Women's Circle. And so quickly, all of a sudden, it was like a turnkey that this was the missing link. I got my cycles and I was almost to the dot regular from that point forward. So that was one cycle of my life where I had adrenal fatigue. I was exhausted. I wasn't sleeping great. I was a runner. So I pushed myself with working out. I did a lot of detoxing and dieting. And then I would yo-yo where I was on something and then completely off and binge eating and doing this just like destroying my body in so many different ways that I thought I was being healthy and now see that it was more destructive. And now I'm a mom of a 5-month-old. So I have firsthand experience of sleepless nights and relying on a lot of caffeine and sugar to get through, even knowing what I know, and even through pregnancy, knowing what I needed to do to support my baby that I was growing inside of me, but having all sorts of food aversions and digestive issues. And I had acid reflux, terrible. Every single day. So I couldn't eat the salads and the omega-3s coming from wild-caught salmon that I wanted to. Everything was like, ugh. So I personally experienced these two shifts, and I've started working with a lot of perimenopausal women who are experiencing the hot flashes and the sleepless nights and lots of food cravings and weight gain. And so I'm seeing in my practice all different stages of adrenal fatigue. And then personally, having gone through these two, and even further back as a student and studying and pulling all-nighters and then drinking and just not taking care of my body. But in next week's Women's Circle, we are really zooming in on adrenal fatigue through 3 different stages. And speaking to different women about this. So it is the working years, the mom years, and then the perimenopause years. And not everybody is going to be a mom or have that as something that they want to bring into their world, but just kind of seeing how the hormones shift throughout this period of time and supporting your adrenals can really help anybody at any stage of life.
Yeah, thank you for sharing a little bit about your journey and just different. I'm just like hearing different keynotes in your life when you now looking back how this was how it impacts us all through life, and that it's maybe not as supported or talked about as much as it could be, especially in many people's societies. It's encouraged to be high driven and go, and is that the best for the adrenals, right? So and where is the balance? And I also hear in your shares that you even I think I'm trying to remember your language, but it was something along the lines of not great habits or something like that. And it's I feel like that maybe gave you some information to work with, and build your practice on, just like your own personal experiences and what, your own and created your kind of, I don't necessarily want to use this word, but niche that you're working with right now. And I get it. And it's such a important thing for new moms. A lot of people don't know in my personal practice, I've worked with hundreds of women through their pregnancies, and I never saw that coming in my practice. And these are things that we talk about. And I just, I think the service that you're providing is so valuable, and really, really excited to hear, what you have to share at the Women's Circle on Monday and April 20th, right? Not the 22nd. 22nd.
Yeah.
April 22nd.
Yeah.
Second, yes. And so it sounds like all ages. You don't have to know anything about adrenals. You'll learn what those are, and maybe some, even if you don't even feel like you have adrenal fatigue, these tips that you will share could just be supportive for a balanced, harmonized life, is what I'm hearing.
Yes. And to be perfectly honest, we just live in a society where stress is like the undercurrent of where we operate from. You go over to Europe and there's siestas. There's like, oh, the shop is closed because I just didn't feel like coming in today. We walk everywhere. We take our time to eat and we connect with people and we actually slow down and enjoy the moments. Here, living in America and in our modern day world, we are just busy doing so many different things at any given moment, whether you're a mom, whether you're a working professional, whether you're a student, a caregiver, or just a person who doesn't resonate with any of that. It's like such a push, right? And then we try to be healthy. So we cut calories, which is a push, and we exercise more because we've learned that there's this calories in, calories out equation. And it's everything's a push. Like we're achieving things in business. Okay, what's up next for you? There's kind of this lifespan of looking at the American way, and you go to school and then you graduate and you meet the person and you get married and you have the kids and then, you work and you get a great job and then you make more money. And it's like, okay, go, 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 push, 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 achieve, achieve, achieve. And we are not taking any time to exhale, to be in the moment, to slow down, to appreciate our time in these moments. And so, well, yes, we are zooming in on these different phases of life. Stress is just something that everybody experiences, and that these tips that I will be sharing on Monday can be helpful for. We have got to make space for self-care and for stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, because otherwise it's like a catabolic process where we keep breaking down the body. There's no repair, and eventually those small irritating symptoms and signs will turn into bigger issues, whether it's a diagnosis, whether it's chronic aches, pain, digestive issues, and so on and so forth. So listen to these symptoms if they're presenting now and start to address them, or at least come so you can hear a little bit more about this. I guarantee it will resonate with you, even if you don't know all the way what we're talking about. We will talk to you about what the adrenal glands are, why it's important to know more about them and to support them, and how you can do so from a food and lifestyle perspective. So that's kind of the agenda. I will kind of leave it with this last thing and then turn it back to you, Cindy. I'm being a mic hog here. But there's hot topics out there. Everybody wants to learn about weight loss. Everybody wants to learn about intermittent fasting, about keto. There's some buzzwords about probiotics and gut health. And when I talk about, let's dive deeper in stress management and sleep, it's like a big snore. Nobody wants to talk about those things. But if you are feeling any symptoms and you are not addressing stress and you are not getting good sleep, you will quite simply not lose weight, not have great brain power, obviously not have energy during the day, and your hormones will not be balanced. So please come join us, learn a little bit more about this. My whole goal as a holistic nutritionist is to not just speak about diet and exercise, but all of the other aspects to make you a whole person and well-rounded and balanced, and leave you with a lot of actionable items to walk away with and start implementing right away to feel better, even if we don't go into a one-on-one coaching experience moving forward. Lots of good takeaways. Okay, Cindy, that's it for me.
Yeah, no, this is your space to share, Taylor. So thank you for sharing everything that you shared. And yeah, the women's circle, it's definitely the energy. It is nurturing and empowering, and that's the space we maintain. So it will be positive on all nervous systems. So that's a good step, even just making it into the door. So thank you again. And they can find you on Instagram. So we'll post your handle and they can find you. And then thank you again for saying yes to being a guest lead for the Women's Circle. We're excited to have you. And thanks for taking time to do this live today.
Yeah. Thank you for offering it to me. I can't wait to get in front of you and the women and hopefully help support you all in just feeling a little bit better. You're not crazy if symptoms are presenting and it's not random. Let's talk about it and dive deeper and really go through this together, supporting one another. So thank you, Cindy. I hope you have a great rest of your day. It looks beautiful outside. So get outside and get some sunshine. That's so nourishing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone. It's Cindy here, and I'm at the